Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Counselor's Office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and we are back with some more reacts. Now, there's been a lot of discussion. A lot of people in the back have talked about campaigns and stories, especially of Edge of Fate, not getting a lot of positive reviews, which I will be trying to work on that this week, especially since Solstice is kind of like mind-numbing right now. It's probably going to be the point where I just casually do Solstice if I do it. But I will be doing a brutally honest review on Edge of Fate. So it'll be coming up eventually. Now, we're going to watch this video about you don't actually miss the Red War, Sunset, Crash Out, and discussion. Listen, if there is one thing that will never go away, it's the fact it is the fact that people absolutely will not drop sunsetting. Like, that's something that's going to stay on Bungie's their gravestone, essentially. Yeah, mini wows. All right, we're gonna jump in. We're gonna see what this is about. We're gonna see. I have no idea. Oh crap. Okay, let's do this for the sake of video quality. His cam is like in the way of my cam. I could try to move it. Here, I'll just do this. There we go. We'll make it nice and pretty.
Literally known for stealing content. Don't know why anybody is surprised that they ripped out half the game. Well, what do you mean by stealing content?
Yeah, what was that about?
You're talking about taking it away? I mean, people have held that against them since they removed a bunch of raids and campaigns back in 2020.
Which, I'm going to be honest, I think if you paid for content and the company took it away, you have every right to continue to criticize them for that. I hate this pushback from content creators and like other people in the community that say, okay, you've got to stop. You can't. No. You have every right to continue to criticize when a billion-dollar company takes away something you paid for. You have every right to criticize it. Now, the real question is, if you're going to criticize that much, why are you still buying from them as well, right? I think I use it in reference as not like every time I'm going to bring it up and continue. I'm bringing it up as a reference point. Like, okay, there's still like a good point. The point right now, they took away a large amount of content in 2020, and they've been doing that still. Like, sunsetting has never left. Like, a good example is episode Heresy, completely gone. There's no anything. No, the Strike, Court of Blades, the Nether, the Dreadnought is just gone. The only thing close to the Dreadnought is Cathedral of Dusk and PvP, that map. But everything else is just, it's gone, Jim. It's gone. And so, like, when you look at that, it's okay to reference, like, hey, they've been taking content. They've been removing content that we paid for. It's not in the game. This is not okay. In that point, it's okay. But just constantly saying, well, they stole from us. Technically, they didn't. Legally, they didn't, because it just how they can get the loopholes, and there's no real regulation, which is why stop killing games is such a big, important thing to push. And I'm pro stop killing games. We need regulation. We need to hold companies like Bungie accountable. I'm all for that. But the reality is there is no regulation. So legally, it's not stealing. But it's just like also like billion-dollar companies and, billionaires, or like millionaires, billionaires, who are essentially going to different countries, or they're avoiding paying taxes for that reason. Like, there's legal loopholes for the rich and the powerful, and that's not like a surprise. Like, most people know this. And so even though legally they're not doing anything wrong, we all know they're doing something wrong. So even though technically, legally, Bungie did not steal from people, we morally know that they stole from us. They took away content that was paid for, and instead of allowing people to continue to access it, they've removed all access. But again, you are signing. I don't think people signed up for the massive sunsetting. So that's like a point where you can continue to say, hey, I didn't sign up for this. However, seasons and episodes, that is something that has always constantly followed a pattern. After the first couple times, some point, people should have been like, hey, I'm not buying this anymore because you're just going to remove it anyways. You're essentially buying access. That's all you're doing. You're buying access to play the game. You're not buying ownership, which again, why stop killing games is important. You're not buying you're not buying ownership. You're buying the ability to access the game, and that's it. You don't own shit. Technically, we should, but legally, through the loopholes and the unregulated space that is video games, you don't own shit. And it sucks. But no, I think if you have a right to criticize Bungie for that. I feel like spamming it and just constantly bring it up does get redundant, because at some point it's like, okay, then why are you still playing the game?
Miss Spyro Stars? Yeah. Man, do I really want to go down the rabbit hole of, like, sunsetting? I feel like we've already talked about it so many times. It's like, I don't even know if it's really even worth. It sucks to regularly get content paid for, taken away, or sunsetted season after season. It's nearly identical to theft.
Again, yes. To some extent, yes. Like morally, yes. Legally, no. It's not the same. Legally, it's not. Morally, yes. You bought something, you should have ownership to it. They're saying, no, psych, yeah, it ain't happening. So morally, yes. But unfortunately, we're not, like, in most countries, there isn't a moral system to keep companies in line. It is just legal.
Let's not go that far. I get your point, but, like, you're definitely over dramatizing.
This was shot in front of a live studio audience at twitch.tv/Sweatsicle.
Because let's be honest, if Red War was still in the game, you would not be playing that campaign. I think, dude, people just go too far with the whole sunsetting narrative. Yes, there are parts of the game that they should not sunset, like raid and dungeon content. And they should have never taken Outbreak or Whisper out of the game. That was a complete fucking throw as well.
I'm gonna let him continue, but I'm gonna piggyback on the Whisper and 0 Hour. I just want to make it very clear. Bungie themselves said that us buying microtransactions did not fully fund it, but did allow them to make activities such as 0 Hour and Whisper mission, the secret mission. So if our microtransactions went to fund it, then why was it not maintained and kept in the game? Especially since MTX never left the game. So, like, you couldn't use your resources to keep the things that was already paid for by MTX, or at least was being used to pay for it. So it's like, okay, Bungie, you really did shoot yourself in the foot there. Let's see what else he has to say about Red War.
Did they rework it? Yes. And they brought it back. But let's be honest, I can't tell you. Even when, let's go back to 2020, and let's talk about when Curse of Osiris, Red War, and Warmind were in the game. I didn't know a single person that was ever replaying those story missions but me for stupid videos. Nobody is replaying the campaign. The campaign is usually something that you do once, and you don't replay it.
So he's not wrong, but you can literally cross-apply that to the rest of the game. And I think Witch Queen, all that stuff, and I think one of the biggest things to point out is that is a design flaw from Bungie. That there should be a reason, like, we have the portal right now. What if one way to farm out pinnacles was to complete a campaign? Just every mission, you get a pinnacle drop. Right? Like, Because not only that, but that encourages you to do like fire team matchmaking for new players or casual players. And you could be like, okay, do the legendary campaign for Witch Queen and you get a pinnacle. And so, you know, and then you get like a bonus for being a part of a fire team or something like that. Incentivizes people to go back and play these old missions. And it helps new players go through these missions who may not like to be honest, he's right. Who's going back and replaying Witch Queen from beginning to end? It's a fantastic campaign, great story, everything's about, but he's absolutely correct. But I think that's a system issue and not just the story campaign issue. Is that Bungie just abandons these products. Now, does that mean you shouldn't have the option? Does that mean no one else actually goes back and replays these stories? That's not true. People do. But is it like overwhelming the majority of the community? No, but should you have the right and availability to do so if you choose? Absolutely the case. You should absolutely have access to that content if you so.
It's crazy that an expansion launch, people are saying wait for the next update just because of how bad it is. Would you rather somebody lie to you and make sure you use code SWEAT in the Eververse store? I love this. Guys, I love running Caldera 400 times. Yay, fun gameplay loop. Woohoo! Let's get hype about Destiny and spend money on silver so I can earn a commission. Is that what you want, bro?
No.
Is that what you want?
This is why I like Sweatcicle, because he's just giving it raw. He's just giving it raw. Like, it is hard to just like, let's make, like, I can't, like, people are like, oh, you're so negative. Like, do you want me to just lie to you? Oh, dude, it's so good. I could literally just, I want to go find Lodi and jerk him off because the gameplay loop is so good right now.
I just don't understand the mindset. It's like, bro, okay, dude. Oh my god. I'm gonna crash out. It's like, I understand the frustration. Everybody is upset about sunsetting, but you need to be more specific instead of blanketing over 90% of the shit that you're not going to play anyways.
Yep. I mean, I still think that it all should be accessible, right? It doesn't matter if you play it. You might have a friend that decides to play Destiny and they need your help going through it, right? Or like, again, I think Red War was a good campaign. I think it was overshadowed by the hate and the well-received, like it was absolutely well called for hate that Destiny 2 had at launch because the systems sucked ass. It was unrewarding. The loot was boring. They gave out exotics like candy because you just needed to do a public event. The end game was just Leviathan, which was a good raid, but not enough to carry, which is exactly what's happening in Edge of Fate right now. It is exactly a 1-for-1, except for the campaign. Red War had a better campaign, a better villain, a better storyline, and I'm going to die on that hill. Like, it was a better introduction to the series than Edge of Fate was. Like, it was a much better experience story-wise. However, the gameplay was so atrocious, so neutered, that it is hard to even, like, a good example is Halo 5. Halo 5 had amazing PvP, but it was hard to like and enjoy the game because of how bad they murdered the story. Like, it's the reverse, right? The gameplay itself was fine. It was just the storyline was just awful. And so it killed a lot of people's enjoyment of the entire series. And so when people think of Halo 5 and how bad it was, they think about the biggest negative, which is what's happening to Red War. I think Red War, if it shipped in like the system of Forsaken, like if Forsaken was like the system changes of Forsaken came out with Destiny 2, and the loot wasn't like just handed out and the loot was actually random rolled, I think people would have enjoyed the story so much more. I really, really do. I think it would have been a better experience. That's just my 2 cents on that.
Would I love for them to just not sunset anything anyways? Absolutely.
Yes.
But at the same time, I could understand why they do it, because the game would literally be like 400 gigabytes if that was the case, right? People paid $40 for Forsaken and they took everything but the raid away. What the fuck are you smoking?
Wait, what?
The game would literally be like 400 gigabytes if that was the case, right? People paid $40 for Forsaken and they took everything but the raid away. What the fuck are you smoking?
We have Last Wish, we have the dungeon, we have the Dreaming City, and then the weapon, like the raid exotics. That's, I would say, half of it. Like half of it still there. Like, yeah, half of it's still here.
Guys, I love running Caldera 400 times. Yay! Fun gameplay loop! Woohoo! Let's get hype about Destiny and spend money on silver so I can earn a commission.
I had to mute that. I'm so glad I don't have text to speech on like that.
And we're on the
Holy.
same team, but you guys are overblowing this so hard. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're going to say things, at least be, like, correct. Like, saying that they took everything away. Half of Forsaken is still in the game. Half of it, right? Obviously, the entire story, you could say the entire story of Forsaken's gone. That would be true. The entire story of Forsaken is gone. The Tangled Shore, gone. The Lost Sectors, everything that came with it, gone.
The balls didn't go off. It might be because
The annual pass stuff, like Forges, Reckoning, the Leviathan. Well, okay, technically that was afterward, right? So, Crown of Sorrow, which was added, gone, right? Scourge of the Past, gone. Like, these are aspects that you could say, but like Forsaken itself, the expansion absolutely has the content still, like half of it.
you did TTS at the same time. It tends to bug. The campaign is gone and the Tangled Shore is gone. That's all you're missing.
Yeah.
It's not overblowing. It's pretty much theft from Bungo. Again, let's say this campaign is still in the game. Let's say theoretically this campaign is still in the game. How often are you playing the campaign? Please tell me. And don't sit there and fucking lie to me and say you're doing it every week.
I don't think this is a good argument. This is a bad faith argument, because you could make the same argument to stuff that's still in the game right now. Again, just because your perception he's right. I'm going to tell him most people won't, because of how the game itself is set up. If someone wants to run back and play those story missions, they should be able to. Which, by the way, just so we're clear, once you completed a campaign, you would essentially have to make a new account or do another character. If you did all three characters, you couldn't actually go back and replay the missions. We didn't get that until like Witch Queen, where you can replay missions. Maybe, yeah, no, yes, I think so. I don't think that's when they introduced the legendary campaign. So they would have to retroactively go back and like add that for the other campaigns, which they're not going to do that. But essentially, to play the older campaigns, you have to essentially make a new account or delete a character. Because once you did on all three characters, you couldn't replay it anyways. But does that mean you still couldn't join other people and play with them like friends? Yes, you could still join. And that is a good point. If we had Fireteam Finder right now and you had the option to play, there would be people who would want to go back and play Forsaken for the story. Yeah, absolutely, there would be people. It's just like people who go back and play Halo campaigns. Like, why do people go back and play Halo? When you've done it once, because you enjoy playing the game. You enjoy the story. You enjoy that. So I think it's very insincere. I mean, single player games are a big now. Is everyone just constantly going and replaying? No, unless you're speed running or doing something. However, I will say that once in a while I get the desire to go play Halo. And so I'll boot up Halo for some good times. The same should apply here. If you want to go play the Forsaken campaign, you should be able to boot up and go play.
You're never going to go back and replay that campaign. It's a mind concept. I'm not trying to argue for Bungie here. I'm being realistic. Cuz I don't like having shit taken away either. But it's literally just a mind thing. You're just upset about something being taken away from you. Even if you aren't using it. And let's be honest.
Someone made a point in the chat. Let's pull up the chat for a minute. All right. So we have Omar. That is not the point for keeping content in the game. I was able to play all of Final Fantasy XIV because the whole game is still intact. Yes. And I think that's a perfect example of these actual MMOs, where these actual MMOs like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Diablo, all that content is still in the game. That's how it is. It is crazy. I do think it's a bad argument, a bad faith argument to be like, oh, if they kept everything, the download would be massive. Even though Call of Duty would be like, look at us, look how much crap you got to download to play Call of Duty games. Like, let's not act like this is not already a thing. And Bungie already wants Destiny to be the everything game. They want you to only play Destiny. They want you to spend all your time grinding. That is the purpose and the point of what they want. And that's really kind of the point of an MMO, is to invest in the world long term. Like, you can't just you can try casually play MMOs, but like Diablo 4 was very much made for casuals. But at some point, you're going to have to put some time investment to really sink your teeth into the game itself. And so the same thing applies to Destiny. Like, removing content for the fact that, like, oh, it's going to make the memory too big. There's so many other games that would like to have a conversation with you because they've been making content. And Warframe has been around since 2013, before Destiny 1, and it's kept it, except for like raids, whatever those were. All the content that they've released is still in the game, and they still get updates too. Like, they update some of that content. Halo MC allows you to play, choose what content is installed. Same with most games that have DLC. And that is a fair point. Like, if you want access to certain multiplayer, you have to download the packs. And you could argue that Bungie could do the same thing. And if you don't want to play a campaign, just uninstall it. Yes, Warframe still has the content. Yeah, it does.
Honest, most of the value that you get out of buying an expansion, we both know you get the best experience when you play it when it's hot and fresh. When I pay $40 for Forsaken like 3 years later, if it was that price 3 years later, you're not going to get as good of an experience as you would have if you played it on launch in September 2018 for $40. You're paying for an experience. Like, that's just the way a lot of these games are now, especially this game. This is not new news. You're not like...
I don't think that is okay. Right? Like, it may not be new, but when did it become okay? And I think if you want to call that out and criticize Bungie for that, then that is fair. Like, at what point you're like, well, we're getting punched in the face. I guess this is just life now. We've got to accept it. What? No, you don't have to sit there and get punched in the face. You don't have to accept that. That's not how it works, Jim. Like, you can absolutely criticize and call out the billion-dollar company and say, hey, we don't want this anymore. That's just not a good excuse.
You're not paying to keep something forever. Eventually, the Destiny servers will shut down. I don't like that game.
Which is why not killing games or stop killing games is so important because that shouldn't be a thing. You should have access. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know why Destiny isn't offline. Like, I feel like if you, like, even now, and I know why it isn't, because they don't, it's to combat hackers and all yada, 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 yada. We can go in detail. Like, there's obviously some deeper reasons why, but I still think that they could do it because now with the portal system, there's literally solo ops. If I wanted to play offline and grind solo ops, hell, they could just disable pinnacle drops. They'd be like, okay, if you're going to play offline, you can get on power gear, but you will never get pinnacle or what, yada, yada, right? You never get tier 5s. You can only get like tier 4s and that's it, right? They could do some kind of system that kind of punishes people for trying to play offline. I don't know, whatever they want to throw into the blender. But at this point, like, solo ops, that's what everyone's playing anyways. And playing the campaigns, I do think at least the campaigns you should be able to play offline. We can agree on that, right? I think if anything, you should be able to play the campaign, like a single player mission, offline. That's just my thought.
Games are that way. Again, we're on the same team here, but that's what this game currently is, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, also to Matt's point on YouTube, people do realize there's a fine print in games that states that they can shut off the servers tomorrow and the money you put into a game can be lost at any time. Yes. They like, good luck trying to pursue anything legal. Like, it's...
But again, that doesn't mean it's okay. And by the way, they're Stop Killing Games is trying to pursue legal regulation, right? I think that's what everyone should be pushing for, is like, we need legal regulation so that if Bungie decided to do that, they would be punished.
I don't even know how to describe it better.
Just because legally they're not in the wrong doesn't mean they're not in the wrong. It's not the same.
On that, I feel like that says everything that you need to about it. I'd rather they remove content for game stability and keep expanding, but it shouldn't include raids. Exactly the mindset that most people probably should have. Exactly that, but the problem...
Again, and this, I want to interject. He's only thinking about veterans and people who are currently playing it. If you remove all this content, which is one of the big issues with Destiny right now, you remove all that content, the story and everything, the new player experience suffers. You need lifeblood coming in. You know how often people still play WoW? And a lot of people, like, I watch like the OnlyFans. Like, I don't keep up with WoW, but I watch like a couple of clips for OnlyFans. And these are people who never played World of Warcraft. Some of them are, but they made like a whole series. You wouldn't get that experience if Blizzard had removed some of that content. If they removed the content, they wouldn't get the story. They wouldn't get the experience that everyone else is for the first time. Like, you wouldn't get people buying into the game, which is what's happening with Destiny. Like, Bungie is trying to fix a mistake that they made with sunsetting with the portal, even though the portal is not actually fixing the problem. It's just kind of like going in circles at this point.
The problem is the inflow is not matching the outflow. That's the problem that I think people are really upset about, but a lot of people don't realize it because they're still upset about losing their Red War campaign back in 2020. There's a truth nuke for you. As a new player, all the expansions right now already took up so much time. I would hate to have to play even more of them. See, that's the even harder part is, bro, this is why I literally saw this. I'm just gonna say it. I saw this shit coming a mile away back in 2019. I've been talking about a D3 for 6 years, and nobody wanted to understand it until more recently. When you bring in new players, it makes the experience 10 times worse when they do have to catch up on everything.
Yep.
And at the same time, if they just keep adding more content to the game, that's more shit that they have to patch, that they have to balance, if they don't get rid of anything. It becomes an impossible task to try.
He's not wrong, but the reality is Warframe literally has all its content. Final Fantasy 14 has all its content. All the other Diablos have all its content. World of Warcraft has all its content. This is not a good argument. The problem is its implementation. If you have the system itself set up where it feeds new players in like a 1, 2, 3, 4 way, it's a better system. But as it stands, when you go in and you make a new account or you're a new player, instead of going in order, this is the shit that you're dealt with. You get all this random bullshit and you have to decipher and figure out, okay, where do I start? Where do I go? What is it I need to do? And Bungie's whole point is like, oh, we're going to solve that problem. We're gonna go through and we're gonna solve the problem with Guardian ranks. This is the solution to the whole problem. We're gonna make you follow the steps of and that's gonna lead you to the promised land, even though it doesn't. And it's still confusing. Like the problem is literally the system. It's one thing if we didn't have any evidence or anything else from other video games that they've solved this problem, but we literally do. No Man's Sky has all its content. I go to the main content fast. Exactly. Like there could be, it's the filter system. It's the guide system. Bungie literally chooses. They literally choose how it works. And it's because Bungie does not want to invest. They do not want to spend money into improving these systems. And that is the problem.
Try and balance everything. It legitimately does, which is why Destiny Infinitely Expanding is not good. A fresh start would not only allow them to balance things better, but it would put everybody on the same page. And it just, there's so many positives to it. It's not a truth nuke. These campaigns are really the only way to understand the story. How the fuck
exactly
to understand the significance of the characters without previous stories? Go to fucking youtube.com/
That is not an argument. That is the most clown. That is the most clown. Like, listen, I like Sweatcicle, but that is the most clown. Like, if you have to go watch a 3-hour video to understand a video game, it is a shitty video game. There is no way. We're talking about trying to keep this game alive, trying to get people to interact and invest in the game. This is supposed to be an MMO. You don't do that by telling people, okay, what do I need to know? Is it in the game? No, go watch a 3-hour video, a 2-hour video. Go watch like a podcast that's 5 hours long. Like, that is not how you keep people invested or you attract new players. I'm not going to go play World of Warcraft and try to understand its story if the story isn't in the game. That is such a bad take. It's really bad.
Fife. That's how you do it, bro.
No, that's not how you should do it. That's just wrong.
You don't show up to a new job and they fill you in on the last 8 years of drama in the office, bro. In like 3 hours. That's not how that works.
That is such a bad example. You know what's a good example though? you're watching a Netflix series, you're watching a story, and there's multiple seasons. But instead of watching the first season, let's say One Piece, right? Let's say One Piece. You want to watch you're watching from the very beginning. Oh, wait, sorry. Season 1 is missing. They had to remove season 1. So you can watch season 2 and onward. Oh, wait, sorry. Season 2 is gone. Season 3 is gone. But you can watch the newer seasons. Isn't that great? Oh, you want to know you want to be able to watch and understand the story? Well, you got to go watch on YouTube. But I don't want why I literally pay, I'm paying for a subscription. I'm paying for be able to have access to it. Why do I have to go somewhere else to understand the thing that I'm trying to be entertained by? Why do I need to go to watch a video on a dude who's giving his thoughts and opinions and breakdown about a story when I would just like to participate and experience the story myself? There's a thing called recaps, man, and Bungie isn't recapping very well. I mean, it's all gone.
I think, honestly, again, it sounds like I'm dick riding Bungie. It really does. But, like, you cannot expect them to try and explain 10 years of Destiny story to you in, like, 20 minutes.
He's right. He's right. Which is why the story should stay in the game.
Figuratively, right? I don't understand, like, why people can't realize that.
Yeah, like you need the reason why Bungie cannot do good recaps, the reason why Bungie is failing on like getting new players caught up is because it literally should just have it happen, right? It literally should have it in the game.
Hold on. I'll look at it in a minute. Because that's what they have the timeline reflection for. Is it's supposed to give you a brief synopsis of what the story is thus far. Does it do a good job? No. Have I been here for the entire decade and still have no idea what the fuck is going on? Absolutely.
What?
If you care about the story, go to a lore YouTube channel.
I think if you need clarification, that is what lore nerds are good for. I do not believe for any instance at all that you can pass off and say, oh, you want to know the story, go watch it somewhere else. That is just a bad game, especially when we have other perfect examples of games that actually continue to keep the content in the game. Final Fantasy 14, World of Warcraft, Warframe, Diablo. These are perfect examples of games that are already doing it. It is literally just Bungie and Destiny.
I think you are being incredibly, like, naive if you expect to boot up this game for the first time and understand all the lore within even, like, a week.
I think that's fair. I don't think if you are wanting a quick catch up without investing the time into the game, that is definitely a you problem. But if you want to play the game to understand the game, then that is a Bungie problem because you can't do that.
Because something like this is not going to do that. This gives you, like, a brief idea. But again, reading 2 paragraphs for every single year that this game has been out doesn't really give you the full picture. You just kind of have to do your own research. There's literally, I'd love for someone to try and, like, come up with some idea that would be better for players to understand the story, because I really don't think there is an option to do that. to understand a decade-old story in a short amount of time is not a realistic task to expect from a publisher like Bungie or a developer. And if they spent a bunch of time doing something like that, you know what else it does? It takes away from them being able to develop more things like dungeons and raids. That's exactly what it would do.
Here's the deal, though. They're already let's roll that statement back.
And if they spent a bunch of time doing something like that, you know what else it does? It takes away from them being able to develop more things like dungeons and raids. That's exactly what it would do.
We are already getting one less. By the way, we used to get free raids. We used to get multiple raids in a year. Not happening anymore. We also used to get multiple dungeons in a year. Not happening anymore. So this idea that if they maintain the game, that it would take away from other aspects of the game, it's already happening, man. They are already doing that. It's just it's again, there are other games currently that are already doing it. They already continue to push out new content. And the fact is, they're removing all this content, and the game itself is still breaking. It's still breaking everything that's in the game. So I think there's more issues than just, if they try to maintain and keep the old content, there's going to be issues. No, I think there's other glaring issues that need to be resolved first.
New returning players need a good starting story to get into the free-to-play experience. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing.
I mean, Red War was literally the introduction to Destiny 2.
If they're not keeping old/legacy content because of balance, they don't need to balance it. Just have it available for the sake of playing. Again, you're thinking logically, but the problem is it just doesn't work that way. Let's take, for example, Duality, the dungeon. Literally, when this expansion came out, people couldn't finish the dungeon because there was some random bug that popped up where if you hit the bell, it like kills you. They don't have a choice but to balance it if they keep it, because shit like that comes up.
Which is why Bungie instead is soft setting 90% of the game, which is also why they said that there's no raids and dungeons, and that what the content that they would bring in was encounters. We're not gonna get actual the dungeons itself. It sounds like we're just going to get portions of it. It's because Bungie is trying to solve the problem, which is we needed a Destiny 3 to move on to a new engine, a new structure. And instead of doing that, we are trying to put Destiny 2 on life support, because the engine, unlike other games like Final Fantasy 14, Warframe, World of Warcraft, and Diablo, those games are able to continue to maintain themselves, but Destiny can't because the engine sucks ass.
It's just, it's kind of like, how could I explain it? It's like, you go to work like an office job where you're like inputting data, but like let's say every month they give you like a new task to do, and you get your tasks every week, right? So eventually, like, in month one, you have one task to do a week. Month two, you have 2 tasks to do. Month 3, you have 3. And it just keeps adding. And the only way to keep up with that is to hire more people. And we both know that that is the opposite of what they've been doing.
Yes, that is fair.
You can't win.
I also think there's a difference between what they can do and what they should do. I think we can all agree Destiny 3 should happen, but do we think that Bungie is capable of doing it? I think most people would say no, they couldn't. So the same thing of keeping and maintaining content in the game. Should they? Yes. Is Bungie capable of doing it? No. But does that mean that we should be okay with it? No. Does that mean we should continue to criticize them for it? Absolutely.
People, no matter what happens or what is done, people always have something to complain about. That is also true. Because there's always something you could be doing better. Do a lot of people operate from that mindset? Not necessarily, but people will never be fully satisfied. And I think at a certain point, they kind of just gave up on trying to make people super satisfied and just, like, obviously switched towards how much money can we make with microtransactions while still...
I think that he's right, but I don't think he's right for what he's trying to imply, that people would never be happy. I don't think that's true. People were mostly pretty happy about Witch Queen, and then Lightfall came out. You cannot say that they gave less quality product in response to criticism of Witch Queen. You just can't do that, because it's not true. And I think that just gives Bungie an excuse. They gave less content because they chose to do less content or less value to save money, while also trying to implement more ways to get money. The idea that Bungie is like, oh, the community is never happy, therefore we should stop trying to make them happy. First off, you're buying a product. That is not how you get people to buy your product. You don't go to a restaurant and they just give you half-cooked food and be like, you know what? We're tired of customers giving us criticism. We're just not going to try. But hey, would you like to spend $8 more for the special sauce we can put on top of it? Isn't that great? We can decorate your food for only $8 more. We didn't put effort into the main product that you paid for, but you could pay extra to add a little pizzazz to it, right? Little pizzazz. Like, come on now.
Putting out the least amount of product possible. And they kind of like self-admitted to that in their game developer conference thing from 2022 that we talked about. Everybody talked about a million times. Just because people are complaining doesn't mean it's not true.
Exactly.
Yeah, again, you're literally fighting ghosts. We're on the same team, bro. I'm not arguing against you. I'm just saying people need to have the holistic perspective instead of, you know?
Again, there's a difference of reality, what should happen versus what Bungie is actually going to do. However, I think you can still be in the middle and you still criticize what's not happening. Like, you're paying for a service, you're paying for a product, especially if you don't own it. I think you have a right to criticize. Because it's not like you can get a refund, right? It's not like you can go back and like, okay, well, I don't have access to this anymore. I'm going to get my money back. Sorry, you don't get access. You don't get your money's back at all. Like, if that's the case, like, you can't criticize it, then you should be able to refund it.
I don't know. It frustrates me when, like, I don't expect, like, people who are new to this game to understand everything fully, but, like, I really wish people would just be able to take a step back and realize the bigger picture on some things, especially sunsetting. Oh, man. Why couldn't things just be simple and we go back to Forsaken, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Those were the good days.
Why did they have to get greedy?
Man, that is a question that so many people have wondered. Even people who don't even play this game anymore wonder, why did Bungie get so greedy? That is the billion-dollar question.
People also feel like they have to start everything from the beginning. Now, for some things that is possible now because of the internet, but it wasn't long ago that the odds are when you found media you liked, you just had to start at the current place and go from there.
Exactly.
Like for TV, you had to watch the current episode to figure out what was going on.
Exactly.
In context. If you were lucky, reruns. Yeah, it is interesting how media consumption has changed, especially in games.
That's the response, guys. Literally, people have to go back and watch. Literally gonna have to watch. People are gonna. Hey, Vicious, you can unsub, but I don't know what's going on with you, like Bud in chat. So let me just help you with this one. I don't. If you're gonna go. Don't need to announce it. I just banned you anyway. So have fun.
So you have more resources as a game company. You start to experiment with other types of content that shift away from the community's desires. Well, it's been very obvious that they're trying to reach other markets because for the past few years, they've been trying to reach Asian markets, especially with
which is funny. Destiny especially with the new events and all that stuff, it definitely feels more like a gacha mobile game. So they are definitely getting to that point, chat, where they're getting into those markets.
The mobile game coming out.
Which, by the way, that is not even through Bungie themselves.
But it's like, you can't completely, the problem, people are upset because the people that got them to where they were feel neglected. It would almost like...
True.
It would probably be, a good comparison would be like, if I just picked up everything tomorrow and never played Destiny again and just played Minecraft instead, a lot of you guys would probably be upset and wouldn't come back. Which is, like, if that's what I want to do.
Which is how I feel about my my channel not doing brutally honest reviews or reacts. People would feel betrayed.
That's okay, but like, if I just completely disrespected all the people that got me to where I were, I can understand why people would be upset. Just as a big corpo company, they don't really give a fuck. You know? And people are still... Even if they're neglected, there's going to be a good portion of players that still show up regardless.
I mean, they're not, the numbers show that they're showing up, but not as much as they used to. Like, this is the lowest expansion we've had yet.
Minecraft Sweatcicle, I'm down. I mean, there will obviously come a day where I don't play anymore. Like, whether I don't want that to come, but
It is definitely coming.
It's not gonna. This game isn't gonna last forever. That's why.
Which is another thing. Like, at some point, you've been on the roller coaster so long, you're gonna get off. And I do think with the current grind, it's gonna force people, even like myself, who's an absolute grinder, to hop off the choo-choo train. You're just gonna want to hop off.
I've always said, like, you gotta kind of enjoy the good moments when we get them. YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the live.
All right, that's it. Let me know in the comment section what you thought. I'll be honest, man. I don't want to replay the Red War. I don't want to replay. I want to play it. Yeah, if you, again, this whole argument that just because you don't want to play it and other people don't want to play it doesn't mean that there isn't a reason to have it around. Like, again, we have perfect examples of real MMOs that keep all their content and you're able to start from beginning to an end. This system filters you literally through the whole thing. It is a problem with Bungie. Now, whether they should do it or can do it, those are two different things. We can all agree that Bungie is not competent enough to do what we would like them to do. Does that mean we should stop criticizing them? No, I think you should criticize them, but I think he's right that we need to be a little bit more focused. We need to phone in on exactly what the criticisms are. And I think a good point right now is, you know, the sunsetting's over. We can point out to that as a reference to, hey, you're still sunsetting stuff. Stop it. Where's the Dreadnought? Where's the Sunless Cell Strike? I like that. Why is it gone? Why is it the dungeon that just came out this year is soft sunsetted and it's not part of the tier system or part of the portal? Stop that. It does seem like it was in response. A lot of the changes that Bungie did recently was in response to the new player experience and to try to get to be more of a free to play game. And to some regard, I do believe they have met that, but they've gone around in the wrong way of doing it. I think it is great that there's more free content, but when there's only like 30 activities that actually matter, and you haven't fixed the process of navigation and feeding people through the story, like, I'm going to say this right here. To end this video, if they want to do a new saga, the entire Light and Darkness saga needs to be free. That's how you want to fix things. Everything's free. All the campaigns, the raids, everything's free. If you're gonna drop it like like an ugly stepchild, make it free so anyone can jump in and just start playing. And then you have a system that feeds you from story to story to story to story, and you can give people a way to opt out of the story, like skip campaign. Right? Let them just skip it. If they want to do that, then let them skip it out of the process. And someone's going to be like, well, there's a timeline. Have you looked at the timeline? The timeline, first off, the timeline's hidden so freaking far that you don't even know where the hell it is. Sure, new players get like a small mission. Like if you go up here, you get like where the hell is it? It's just so buried under everything. Okay, I didn't pick it up. But you get like a thing that says new player, like it tells you to go play the timeline. But if you're like loading in and you pick it up or whatever, oops. Like it's not here. There should be a timeline section right here. Play the whole story for free. Get caught up. Here you go. Here's our new saga, old saga, 2 different nodes. That's what they could easily do. Click on this. If you want to do the campaign, you can skip campaigns. Like, okay, I already know what happens to Shadowkeep Beyond Light. I stopped playing at Lightfall, and I would like to just play the final shape and jump into that. Boom. Confirm that you're skipping some of these timeline campaigns, like this, the whole thing, because it's free now. Like in this world, all the campaigns are free. You skip, you confirm, skip. All right, now I'm jumping into the final shape. I'm going to do the legendary version of it, yada, yada, yada. Bam, there you go. And then you still have this. And if you're wanting to get rid of the world, you can still kind of do that because you've got this whole node that you click in, and it's a hub that shows you the campaign. Or there could be a tab that says like Shadowkeep. And then you have the Beyond Light. And then you have a tab that tells you Lightfall or Witch Queen. And then it gives you objectives that you have to do. Like, here's the missions, and here's like the exotic missions that you could do to unlock stuff. All of this is literally aspects that they could do in the portal. Like, it's just whether they take the time and the money to do so. The reality is they most likely won't, which sucks. But again, the idea that, because I think, and most people don't play Witch Queen. People don't go over here and play the Witch Queen expansion again. Okay. Who cares? You're not a new player. You're not needing that new player experience. You're also not you're not thinking that Bungie could literally make it a solo ops and you could do the campaign. I'm going to do the campaign. I'm going to add some modifiers, and doing all the different missions on this will give me pinnacle gear. If you tell me that I can get from 200 to 300 by playing the legendary version of Witch Queen, I'm going to go through and run that, or play Mythic. If you do all of Mythic, you get you get boosted up to 400 doing Mythic. Hell yeah. I'm going to bang my head against the wall doing Mythic campaign missions to get up to level 400. Like, these are things that they could do for campaigns and stories, and they just aren't. That's my thoughts. Hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. As always, don't forget to game out. Huzzah.